Alright, let's get back to carb build here. So I want to just take a look at, these are the shafts that I pulled out. And you can see they're pretty rusty, and I want to show them to you. By the way, I ground the end of this. You can see that. And I tapped it. I want to make, this is the end with the throttle shaft, the front throttle shaft, where the sort of butterfly wing thing is. I don't even know what you call it. It's like, I call it the handle, the part where you grab and you give it a twist and you go vroom vroom. What a jerk. Anyway, so this is what they look like right now. Well, by the way, the idea of that is so that I can interchange the various brackets that the accelerator pedal and the springs go to. Because on my car I may want a particular bracket, and I may have two carburetors, and it may just be easier for me to just swap them out. So I think I'm going to do this on all my builds, really. Also, when you take this apart, it's the only way to get them apart. You have to grind off the end. It's peened over on it, and I'll show you that later. But I just wanted to go through, this is what we've got here. So I'm going to clean these up. I'm going to blast them. Now if you have a tumbler, even better. I don't, so I'm going to have to struggle getting these in the blaster. And then later on you'll see I'll acid etch them, and they'll kind of come really, really clean, and then we're going to plate them. One of the nice things about it is this kind of plating process is that these won't rust again, and you could add a little bit more material on it, and it'll tighten up the throttle shafts a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. So we're going to get to that. I'm going to sandblast this, and we're going to do some plating in a little while. All right, we'll be back. Okay, everything's out of the plating. Excuse me, an iridite bath. So let's just take a look at some of these things here, like the shaft. These are the shafts, and you can see the colors. I don't know if you can see this. I hope so. Put some more light on it. But you can see this is the tube plating process with the conversion coating on top. It is really, really very nice. This is not going to come off for a long time. Nice. So I'm going to start putting this stuff back together again, and I'm going to take it slow because I have a lot of stuff to do. But this is pretty nice. I mean, no more rust. It's been plated. It's not going to rot, and it's going to operate really nice. So I've got a really, really clean bunch of parts here, and they're basically like new at this point. But not bad. All right, we'll be back in a little bit, and don't forget to comment and subscribe and hit the like button. And enjoy. I'll see you later. I'm just going to take a quick shot of this. This is another base plate rebuild. This is a base plate to the carburetor that I was working on earlier. And you could see the throttle shafts I've taken apart. They're pretty rusty. A little nasty. But it's not bad. This is in good shape. And this is what it looks like after I cleaned it a little bit with some degreaser. So I'm going to sandblast it next with the bead blaster. And we'll look at that, and then it'll start the plating process. So I'll show it to you as I go. That's some extra. Right now, this is what the shafts look like out of the sandblaster, and these are some of the valves. Some valves I found on one of the carburetors. It's got an interesting slot. I've been doing a little bit of reading about that. And the carburetor I'm running right now, it looks like the engine needs a little bit more air. And if I depress these secondary valves a little bit in the back while the engine's running, the engine picks up an RPM. So I'm going to test this to see if that helps. And this is the throttle base plate that I'm working on. So that's out of the sandblaster. And so I'm going to wrap this up, and I'm going to see I'm putting hangers on it. I'm going to get ready to put into the plating bath, and right over there. So that is next. Alright, now I am done with the plating, and this is zinc plate, and it really has done a nice job. Polished up everything with just some steel wool and a brush, a steel brush. Now if you want, you could use something more powerful like a machine of some kind. Absolutely not necessary for what I'm doing. I'm very happy with the results of it, and what's going to happen next is it's going to go back in the plating tank for a bit, and then right out and into the Chromabrite solution. And I just want to show you real quick. I don't know if you can see it, but look at how they shine. Right, and that's just drying. It's going to have to dry for a few hours, but when it's done, it'll be very, very bright. Now I don't know, there's another way to see it. There you go, you can see gold, and all the other stuff is over here drip drying. Okay, you can see how gold they are. It's silver gold, bluish. They've got all the colors of the rainbow. That needs to drip a little bit more. Clean that up. Alright, we'll be back in a bit. Hey. It's Carb Mania. I just want you to get a look at this. This is the one that I'm working on. Look at the gold finish on that. The shafts are all gold. Alright, this is what I'm talking about here. And that's the throttle plate cleaned up. That's the body cleaned up. A little bit of gold iridite on that. That's been plated. So, got some stuff in there I'm working on. Got a little Lumibrite with jets in there cleaning up. So I'm going to keep moving forward and see what I can put together here. This is a set carb number 2. And if you look at this air horn, one of the things that you can see about it, this main air bleed right here. You can see that in there. Main air bleed. Alright, this is one of the better carburetors. It's got more bolt holes, sandwiches everything together. It's a little bit newer. And if you look at the Edelbrock Rochester, because Edelbrock picked up Rochester, this is the casting that they prefer, actually. This casting. So, another good reason to go for this. It's a slightly later model casting. Not the latest model, but a little bit later model. Of the ones that are not electronically controlled. And there are some differences, and I will get into that at some point in a demonstration carburetor. But I'm going to keep working on this, and we'll see what's next. Alright, we're back with the base plate. And just wanted to show you some stuff. Look at that. How nice that came out. Silvery, blue, you name it. And I'll show you this throttle shaft at least. Because I got busy last night, and it just comes out perfect. So, absolutely perfect. So I'm going to do a little assembly here on the base plate. I started already. And bit of a mess here. I got to clean up at some point. What did I do with the hammer? Alright, so let's put everything back together again. I had picked up this down. Put a little bit of lubricant on it. There we go. That's down all the way. Just use the socket to drive it down as a drift. Alright, so let's put it together. It just goes together absolutely beautiful. And now let's start putting these in. Everything got plated. So these pretty much go in one direction. I always like to keep a base plate around, just in case I forget. Numbers down. They all have numbers on them. And you can't see that. I can barely see it. And this one they're very faint. So they go this way towards the back. At least that's the idea. And what I do is I polish these up with a little steel wool. And then replated them. So everything's been plated. See if I can get it to line up. Not that easy to do. So you get it started. There we go. I'm going to use a little bit of Loctite. on the threads. These are some new hardware, so at least I got new hardware. Now you could stake these on, or just bolt, peen the ends over. Magnetic attraction. All right. Once they're both in, I can align them. I'm going to sit down for a little bit. One extra screw, which is nice. Well, last night I did the body of the carburetor, and you've seen that before. So this is all plated with zinc, and I added the chromium solution, the iridite coating, conversion coating on the top. This one finger tight. I got to align the butterflies. Now, one of the things that you can do, if you want to make this base plate flat, you can get some 240 wet and dry, lay it on a piece of really flat glass, and with it all apart, you can sand it. Okay, so now we're going to close the butterflies and tighten it a little bit more and check it. Alright, now hold it up to the light. You shouldn't see any a lot of light coming through it. And looks good. That looks very, very good. Now I'm going to make sure they're all tight. As I did yesterday. Yeah, that's fine. So that's beautiful. And if you want to add a little bit of lubricant to it now, not going to hurt anything. Do it again. You want something with some kind of a film coating. like a Teflon or something like that, anything with a good film coating in it. You can put motor oil on it if you want. You just got to make sure that you don't have a lot of excess. A light motor oil will work as well. You can spray WD-40 on it, but that's just not going to last. It's not going to be thick enough. Nothing's really going to last, but you want something on there for when you're setting it up, because you want to make sure that everything is moving properly. So, okay, now our next step, I've got this to guide me. So there's this spring here, and that's going to go on. And then the piece after that is this guy, this lever. And this is what always gets me, is exactly how it goes on. It's a bit of a pain. Like, I know you need to pull it around. And then this spring goes on. And if I look at the example of it, it always gets me confused. You gotta pull it all the way over this way. Let's see. This is what helps hold it closed. One helps open it, and the other one helps hold it closed. And if you get it right, it'll do that. It'll flap. And I got it right. Okay, so that's an example of that. So the next side, this side, I don't have this piece for it yet. So we're going to do this side over here. And this gets a little spring. I'm sure I have another one, but I'll use this one for now. So you got this and this. So this guy goes on next. This goes in here, and this goes on. You may have to tap it on a little bit. And then you have to put the spring on with the screw, which is, what did I do with the screw? Here somewhere. Put these back. Screws here somewhere. There it is. Which I plated because it's so exposed. Let me just put these away. I'll knock them off the table. Pretty generous kit. Put the stuff to go back in the bag. Here's the screw. Lubricant on it. I'm not going to Loctite this in. Actually, I probably should, because I don't want it rattling off. I'm just going to put a little bit of Loctite on it. And this got plated. I'm just going to put a little bit on so that I know it stays. And the spring goes like this. Line goes there. Just going to start it. There's some chunkies in there. I think we're going to blow that out. Looks like there's some chunkies in there. Put a little lubricant in that, I guess, now. Yeah, throw a little bit of this in there. Yeah, some stuff from plating. And let's get the schmutz out of it. Put a little bit more Loctite on. Nice, a little better. I'll try to get this spring over. And then we can tighten it down. And it's a positive stop thing, so you don't have to worry. Okay, so that's the choke adjustment. Now we'll just put some of this on. Let's just check this here. Hopefully I can get this on. I won't have to take it back off again. Probably should put it on first. There we go. That's on. Then we have this piece. Which we're going to put a little bit of lubricant on it. This piece is a little difficult to put on. A little burr on the end, but it's tight. And we got these guys. And look at the order of operation. This guy goes like that. Like that. And this guy goes like that. And I think I have a screw somewhere that I could use temporarily. I thought I had one. Yeah, I do. Right, we'll just hold this on here in the end so it doesn't fall off. So that's that. Right, a little more lubricant. Put everything up. Check to make sure that it opens 100%. If it doesn't, you got to bend this and make sure that it closes completely. So if it doesn't, you want to make sure that it does. You may have to bend this. Any binding, you're going to have to resolve it. And that looks pretty good. Any binding you're going to have to resolve. Okay, we're golden. Now, try to remember, I think it's this one, but I'm not sure. One of these is for the accelerator pump. And it's been a while. I think it's this one. Yeah, it's that one. That's the accelerator pump rod. So you're good to go here. So now what we need to do is get a gasket situated. I think I was using this gasket. So we're going to set set this body up. Let's take this off, the top of the body off for right now. Usually I lay it on after, but this is the way it's going to work right now. Usually put the base plate on first, but I was waiting for this to dry yesterday, so I didn't have the option. So I think what we're going to do is to protect what we've got, our investment here. And we'll put this back together real quick. Put one screw in it. I'm just going to put one screw. Just to hold it down. This way we could put the gasket in properly. And this is the carburetor that has more screws all the way around the body, and I do like that. That fits nice. Now we can screw this down. So I need 3 of the Phillips head, which is these. This takes 3 instead of 2. Tighten them up good. You can come back and tighten them again after you get the rest of the screws on. And we're good to go. So now pop this back up on my fixture. And I usually hold it down with one nut. So now we're going to go through the bottom, the interior, and I'm just going to pull this screw back out. And we want to make sure we've got everything on that we need to get on. Which in this case is really just a gasket. Alright. So I've got everything in here that I need to get in here except for the accelerator pump, which this is an older one, but it should work fine. I've kept it in good shape. I'm going to put a little bit of lubricant on this. It seems like it's capable of pushing, and I'm going to need a spring for that, and I have to find a spring. my inventory of stuff. That'll do the job. So we've got a spring in there, and the next step for us is, since everything's basically in there, I'm going to take this and I'm going to pull this rod over here. I'm going to pull this through, so I'm going to put the choke rod over this way, right through that hole, and slide the tang of the gasket underneath the power valve and just pull forward without it catching on the guides. And then that's that. So that's down, and we'll shove this underneath. Like so. And this gets held down. And that's about all you need to do. Okay. While it's sitting up, I'm going to guide this into place through the seal. That goes through here, and down it goes. That's it, it's down. And as you pump, now we can start putting all the screws back. So let me get my screw tray. And what am I missing? So we're going to need this baffle. Should have cleaned this up, but I forgot. Let's see. I want two long ones without any washers. This is the long one here. That's the long one there. There's the long one here. These guys on the ends. Put a little bit of lubricant on them. Just on the ends for now, because I've already lubed them up. That needs a little bit more lubricant. Sometimes you just get a little bit of schmutz into the threads. So if that's the case, just flow straight down. That should eliminate any extra junk. Yeah, that's clean. Cleaner. Comes from the plating process. I'm just making them just a little, finger tight, because I have to put the rest of the screws in. I just want to make sure it cinches down. If you feel anything on the threads, you'll have to take it back apart and tap it. Now I should have tapped everything, especially the base plate, because of the sandblasting. Use a bottoming tap for any bottom holes. There's a lot more screws on this carburetor, which is nice because it's less likely that you're going to have a problem. pieces. Okay, and I also have the screws that go in the center, which I don't know where they are. They're over here. And a little bit of lubricant in the threads. Still have a few more to put in. We have these on the ends, and I need another long one with a off washer, which I have. And I need two for the ends. And let's see, I don't know if these are short or long. Let's see if these work. There are a lot more screws on this body. If I get this body to work, this is really the preferable body. The other one that I have, the Holly Reman, I don't know the part numbers. I think there's a part number up here, which seems to be slightly obliterated. I should write that down. Should have inspected it before I started. In fact, that's what I'll do next time. This looks like a 701, maybe an 05R. 701. Could be a 95R, 701 95R. I'm going to go look that up and see what we got. Be back in a minute. Just position this a bit more out of the way. Okay, this is version number 3, and this is the 80s model, sort of monojet, and this is it built up. I did modify it, the base plate, again, for a larger fitting on here so that they're interchangeable. It's the biggest you can go. And this is the only vacuum tee that I have like that, but I like it, so I want to be able to share it between the carburetors. And it comes out nice. So I had to steal this from the other carburetor. And this is the pull-off. No lockout for secondaries on this one. I had some issues with it, so for now it's off. And a slightly modest, a little bit more modest secondary hanger and needle assembly that I put in there. So this one's a little bit different, but the air circuit is very similar. It's been modified, and there isn't an air bypass on here yet. I didn't drill out the base plate for it. I want to see how it runs like this. So the next step is to put it on the car, and then I got to clean the plugs for an accurate reading, and we'll see what happens. So I'll be back in a little bit, and hopefully this works out good. I'll be back. Okay, this is a 1980s carburetor, and if you look down on this side, I can't show you any numbers because it's too far away the camera, but this is where you look on this carburetor. This is basically like a monojet. It's a later carburetor, which explains why it has the central air bleed up here right over the venturis. So that's the mystery behind it. Now, not all carburetors are made by Rochester. Some are made by Carter. So you're going to have to look around. There sometimes it's on a tag over here, up here, down here. You might see a broader nameplate or stampings on the side. So just a good reference would be is just to go on the web and take a look. Since we have that, or you can print out a guide too if you're shopping at a swap meet. Take it with you. But it depends upon what you want. If you're at your application, or do you want to mod something. So I'm going to just snug this down. Now I still have to find some more hardware for this. There's a few more pieces to put on. I'm going through all my stuff and trying to put together 2 carburetors for the Nova so that I can modify them and tweak them, and then whatever extra inventory I have, I'll try to build up another carburetor and put it up for sale and sell it, maybe sell it with the rest of the stuff, the inventory that I have. So I have a lot of extra parts that some of it I'm not going to need. So either I'll keep it for a customer or I'll just sell it. And I'll put together a list of stuff at some point. And if you have any questions, you can contact me at nova2@optonline.net. Or look down below. And I don't want to over tighten it, but I just want to make sure it's snug. Now, if you're just going to be putting this on for a test and think you're going to put it apart again, you know, don't over wrench it. You're just going to kill the gasket sooner. These gaskets last a long time if you're careful with them, and if you grease them up before you put them on. Now, I already greased these, already, and I put them aside, put them on a few times, so I'm okay. Now let's just check the fit of this piece. See which way I need to put it on. And it goes the other way. There we go. That I have that there. Put a little Loctite on. Just a little bit. So maybe taking it back apart. That's on there good. It's supposed to get this little E-clip or clip, spring clip. Let's see if we could just put this on there. I think that helps hold it in place. Alright, now, I don't have a piece of here, it's on the other carburetor, so I'll have to wait for that. But what I do have is this. This can now go on. Check it for function. And let's see if it's on there right. It. And again, with this pin for this rod, don't push it all the way back to the housing. You're going to be reusing it. It's very rare that they ever go. You want to be able to stick a screwdriver in, so only push it back as far as the screwdriver will let you go. And we're good there. Now, I remember from fooling around with this carburetor, we have to deal with choke pull-off. So I'm going to go look for those parts. I have one here. This is one that I had. This is one of the pull-offs for it. So on this carb it goes here, this way, and there is a lever that comes over to here. There's also a pull-off that goes this way, so we have to see which one works, and I'm going to go find that stuff now. So I'll be back.